Welcome to the Weighted Risk Assessment demo. In this session, we'll walk through how to create, complete, and manage risk assessments using weighted groups to prioritize risk.
Let's start by navigating to Assessments and clicking ERM.
The Enterprise Risk Management page is where all assessments are created and managed. It serves as a central hub for every type of assessment, organized into folders for easy navigation. Click Create Assessment in the top right of the screen. This brings us to the New Assessment screen for configuring the general details of the assessment. Let's fill in the title and description first. Next, let's select a location for the assessment to reside in by clicking the drop-down. For the due date, we will select May 1st, 2026. Click Next. This brings us to our Assessment Types pop-up. For weighted risk assessments, you have two options, the Standard type and an option with risk mitigations. In this demo, we'll select the Mitigation option. Click Create below. Now we can see our newly created assessment in our 2026 folder. Let's click into the assessment to see more. The assessment has a variety of action buttons to manage the assessment. We can launch the assessment for all assignees, edit the settings we just filled in for creation, and most importantly, creating survey groups and risks. Since this is not a risk owner assessment, assignees must be manually assigned to groups. Let's begin by selecting the field above. Weighted assessments are configured by creating groups, assigning participants, and defining each group's weight out of 100. Click Add Group to create your first group. We will name this group Internal Audit. Now let's click the plus to start adding members. Click Add to confirm your group members. Click Create to finalize the new weighted group. Now you can see your newly created group. Let's add one more so you can see the weighted functionality in action. Now we can assign a weight to each group. We'll give the internal audit team a 60% weight and the other team 40%. Click Save. Below, we can see an assessment has generated for each assignee assigned to a weighted group. Let's explore the Form toggle next. This view displays how the assessment form will appear to the assignee, along with an editable instructions field. For assessment types that include mitigations, each risk will have an additional mitigation section that you can edit, as demonstrated. If you select the standard weighted risk assessment, this mitigation section will not be included in the form. To explore additional customization, select Customize in the top right. For additional insight, assessments can incorporate velocity as a risk input and include any associated risk indicators for each risk. You can also customize the drop-down values used for any risk scoring input, as we will demonstrate here. We will customize risk velocity for this example. Click Save below to finalize our changes. We are ready to distribute the assessment. Select Launch Assessment at the top of the screen. Click Launch to confirm. Now we can see each of the assessment statuses have changed to Sent. Let's log in as Jane Doe to practice completing a risk owner assessment. Logged in as Jane, here's our first look at a risk owner assessment, including instructions and risk inputs with their corresponding information. If we start filling out the risk velocity, we can see our change to the Immediately option. Let's fill out the rest of the fields. Since we customized our form to include KRIs, we can indicate if the attached KRI data requires adjustment. If Yes is not selected, a required text box appears prompting you to explain why. We'll provide an example response. Finally, let's select Partial for how well we are fulfilling this risk mitigation strategy. Now that we have filled out all of the risks, let's click Submit. We can see at the top that our survey was successfully submitted. If we go back to the assessment, we can see Jane Doe's status has changed to Complete, and the date completed has been filled in with today's date. If you click on the three dots, we can resend the assignee's form or delete them from the assessment completely. If the assignee hasn't completed the assessment yet, we can also hit the bell icon here to remind them. You can also click Close when all the assessments have been completed to mark that the assessment is done. Thank you for working through this demonstration of how to create, complete, and manage weighted risk assessments. Have a great day!